Look at this structure. In the object, I am creating one custom object. Right. So I want to make a request to the third party, get the what is the starting value of the day. At the end of the day, what is the okay dollar value, and I want to update to this record. This is my record. Now let's go with this format. You can make slide changes on this. I also want to add one extra field here. Okay, we are done with this. Let us go to the programmatical approach. So how this? So whatever the request we made here, same request will be. No difference. Same request. But we are making this request from ScheduleFX. Instead of making this request from BatchFX, I am trying to make this request from ScheduleFX. Right. Now, call schedulable. same request, giving only the point is API key I have to give straight away. Here also I will take a constructor through which I will pass API key. I don't want to hard code it. No. So we are giving public void execute, same layer, USD currency, no difference in this. Whatever we got, the same structure I am doing. Whatever we got in the previous case, the same structure I am doing. Now I will not make any updates or anything. Just I want to make a call and see whether request is going or not from the schedule apex. I am not writing any other logic. Whatever the HTTP request I made, HTTP request equal to new HTTP request, endpoint, method is get, send a request, we are getting a response. Whatever the response we are getting, we are trying to deserialize, finding out the value of INR, and we are trying to set the data. Now what I am doing, I want to execute this. How do you execute this? So I was giving 920, right? Twenty-ninth, or otherwise I'll say every day, the month of 9, every day in the month of 9. First of all, what is the time zone of user? The user who is running, according to his time zone, the operation will run. The operation will be running according to the current user time zone. So what is the current user time zone? Any job that is scheduled, the user who is invoking the operation, according to his time zone, the data will be running. I'll also just change. Go back to this. Every day, every month. What was that? Was supposed to pass API key. Excellent. Now we schedule the job. Go back. I have not made any changes on this. Simply I invoked a web service call from schedule apex. I didn't write any logic. I made a web service call. Job is in the queue state. So if you schedule any job, can you guarantee that the job will run at the same time? Now what? What was that? What was that error? Call out from schedule apex is not supported. So you will not be able to call a web service call from a schedule apex. But my requirement says every day at the evening I have to make a request to third party, get the data from the third party and update in the Salesforce. Now, how will you get this? Schedule Apex says you cannot call a web service call from the Schedule Apex, but my requirement says every day, nightly basis, I have to make a request to third party, get the data and perform the logic. Then in that case, we will be using future method. Then we'll be using what? Future method. Future method is what? We will be using the future method. Future method will be running asynchronously. Schedule Apex will not support synchronous web service call. Schedule Apex does not support synchronous web service call. Why it will not support synchronous web service call? Because if you are adding the job to the queue, you cannot guarantee when this job is going to be executed. Even though you told execute at 10:30, I cannot guarantee that job will execute at 10:30 because it all depends upon the resource availability and your position in the queue. Now the job is added to the queue, depends upon the pending jobs, depends upon the availability of resources, job will be executed. So we cannot specify or we cannot say when the job is going to execute. That is the reason synchronous web services are not supported by Schedule Apex. Then when it says synchronous web services are not supported, asynchronous web services will be supported. That's what I wanted to say. Synchronous web services are not supported. So how can you make a web service as asynchronous? Use future method. So what I'm doing, future. If you want to call future, I'm not giving anything here. I was supposed to mention call out public static. The web service call. I made a web service call to this. Then I'm getting what was the object we created. Now once you got the value, ID. The problem here is I have taken this value as a currency value, right? If I take the value as a currency, what will happen? Default currency value will come. What is the default currency value? Dollar. We say currency as a if you say field as a currency, your organization currency value will come. But what do you want? I don't want the organization currency value. I am trying to print my own value. That is the reason I am taking text. If I take it as a currency, by default it will display like dollar only. By default it will display like a dollar only. So I am giving as a text and I will put a rupees in front of it. ID. Right. So what I am doing was I defined a future method. What was the bug here? Illegal assignment decimal to string. Okay. Because I told it should be a string value. I was supposed to put rupees. Okay. Then extra comma where created date equal to primary basic errors. Now, next I need to make one quick changes here. Some jobs are scheduled without deleting or aborting the job. I am trying to make a changes, so it will throw error message. Scheduled jobs are there without aborting the job or deleting the job. I am trying to make a changes, so that was one of the error. So I deleted the job, then I am making. So it is a schedule. It is a schedule effects, and we are calling a future method. In the future, what did I give? Made a web service call. Then I am making some XYZ changes. Now I am calling this future method within the schedule apex. Can I call a future method within a schedule apex? Can I call a future method within a schedule apex? Can I call a feature within a schedule apex? 100% we can call, right? Then I am executing it. Now what is the time frame? 31. I schedule it. Now, first error. If you want to call a web service from the future method, we have to give at the rate of annotation, at the rate of future, call out equal to true. If you don't define call out equal to true, we will not be able to call web services from the future method. So let us see this. What is the bug here? Job is in the queue. What is the first error we are going to receive? We cannot call web service from the future method unless it is having call out equal to true. That's the first solution. Okay. Second one, when you're calling future method, if it is going to take only primitive data members, future method is going to take only primitive data members. What if the schedule apex want to pass a group of records? Now schedule apex is generating some group of records. On that record, the web service has to be called. Then what will happen? Future will fail. Right now I am passing only API key, which is a string. Future method will accept all the data types except S object. Future method will accept all the data types except S object. Now, if you are trying to pass, if you have any requirement where you need to pass a group of S object, what will happen? That's the second question. Now look at the format. What is it? At the rate of feature, call out equal to true, failed. So what I was doing now? True. Then take some time. Let's wait for the job. So, if you are supposed to call a web service from the schedule apex, how do you call it? Define a schedule apex. Was that? I think it's a old call or new call. 33 failed at the rate of call out equal to true. Is not saved. The changes are not saved. Some bug is coming. Let us see what is that bug. scheduled jobs are in progressing. We are trying to modify a job which is already scheduled, so it is giving error message. Now I remove the jobs. If any asynchronous jobs are already in scheduled state, we will not be able to modify it. There is a reason why the changes what I made is not saved to the. So meanwhile, let us take. Go back and see. So if you are supposed to schedule any web service call from the schedule apex, you are supposed to go with the future method and invoke the future method within the schedule apex. It is a solution. Calling a web service from batch apex, calling a web service from schedule apex. Then what is the next choice we have? Invoking a web service from trigger. Let us see the output of this and we'll go for trigger. So invoking a web service from trigger is the next concept. Let us wait for the file to be. List as no rows assigned to a subject. Now it is not the web service call fail, it is my SQL query fail. It is my SQL query which is failed. But the web service was successful. Here it is not returning any value here. I hope you are good with this, right? Still want to see the output? Go back. It is our schedule apex. Go to the schedule apex setup. I hope the concept is clear for everyone. Now what are the errors we encountered in this operation? What are the errors we encountered? One is not defining schedule apex is not going to support. Schedule apex is not going to support synchronous web service call. Second one, when the operation is, when some job is in the pending state, you cannot modify the schedule apex or feature method. Third one, if you want to call a web service from the feature method, at the rate of feature, call out equal to true should be given. Okay. Next, probable error. If you are trying to pass S object to a feature method, there is another probability. Right. These are the four web service related issues what we encountered. Come back again here. Still it's not saved. Just wait for it, boss. The system. Now the file is saved. Let us go back and see. What is that? Job complete. This is how the kernel is value. So what we are doing, boss? It is a schedule apex which was running and it is invoking the data. So it will run every day. Now I need to write one more schedule apex which will run at the evening 6 o'clock. And update end value. Now this is a start value. I have to update at the end value. Right, boss? So let us go to the next one. How do you invoke web service from trigger? With respect to trigger, how do you call web services? Now let us say I am going to create a new record, boss. I am going to create a new record. Whenever a new record is getting created, based on the code, there will be some value associated with this in the third party. Let us say I have promo codes. Promo code and value. Now user is submitting the data. Bill payment is making a payment. Some data is being. Now when you click on the record, you want to save the record. When you click on the record and save, before this record is saved, now once the record is saved, it will go and search. It will go and search. You can go and search whether this promo code is valid or not. If it is valid, what is the discount they are giving? Then update the discount value to this. Update the discount value to record. So when you save the record, immediately to go to the third party system, verify whether the promo code is valid or not. If it is valid, what is the value of the discount value of the promo code? Get the discount value to this, then save it. Now when this should happen? When you are making a payment. When you are making a payment. When you are making a payment, this should happen. When you are making a payment, this should happen. Right. Now, if you want some action to be automatically fired, when a DML operation is performed, then what concept we are going to use? Process builder, or we are going for your trigger. There are two choices. One is a process builder, otherwise a trigger. Why process builder? When a DML operation of insert and update occurs, after insert, after update, we can invoke a process builder. After insert, after update, we can invoke a process builder. From process builder, Apex class I can call. Or else, straight away I can define with the trigger. What is the trigger? When a record is created, before insert or after insert, we want to perform some logic. So, whenever a DML operation is getting performed, I want some action to be performed at the back end. Then what we are going to do? We are going to use a trigger concept here. First question is, will the trigger support web service call or not? Is the first question. If it support, when it is going to support? And what are the possible errors we may encounter? Look at the format. So, to explain this, I will take a simple example which is already done with us. Postal code we have seen, right? Basic example. This postal code example I will take. Now, my requirement is, whenever a new lady is created, based on the place, pin code will be generated. So whenever a new lady is created, automatically make a web service call to third party. Based on the place, identify your pin code, update the pin code. This is my requirement. So how I am doing this? I decided to go with trigger concept. It's your choice whether you want to go with the before insert or after insert. Let me say after insert. When you say after insert, whatever. How many leads we are going to insert? I am not sure. It has to be what? Take one by one lead, make a web service call where your place is. Where is the endpoint URL we have got? We got endpoint URL. Let us take the endpoint URL here. Pin code update. First, get the concept. There are going to be a couple of errors because we are invoking from the trigger. First, let us fix all the bugs what we are going to get. Then we will try to understand the concept. Right. Semicolon missing. Right. So we made a web service call from the trigger. What was that? Once the lead record is inserted, take one by one lead, make a web service call to third party, update your data. Update your data. Can I update the data in this format? Can I update the data in this format? You are not supposed. Why? Because it's after insert. We can only perform what operation? Read operation. So I am giving select ID comma pin code place from where ID in. Okay. Now things are set. Now this is my requirement. Whenever a new lead is inserted, writing a SQL query, getting the new leads which are inserted, then taking one by one lead, making a web service call to third party, trying to get the pin code number and updating the data. This is my requirement. Now go to this, insert the lead record. What is that format? What is the exception you got? System dot call out exception. Call out from the triggers are not currently supported. So we are unable to call, we are not supposed to call web service from the trigger. Why? What is the reason? You are inserting the record. When you make a web service call, at max it may take 2 minutes of time. Let us assume it is taking 1 minute of time. Till that 1 minute, this record will not be saved. You are saving the record till that 1 minute. This record will not be saved. So you say, like, let's say it's taking 30 seconds. Till that 30 seconds, record will not be saved. So you are holding the operation because you are making a web service call to third-party system. The operation may be delayed. Till that operation is completed, I will not be able to save this record. That is the reason trigger says I will not support synchronous web service calls. Trigger says I will not support synchronous web service calls. Trigger says I will not support synchronous web service call. But according to our requirement, we need a web service from a trigger. If you need a web service from a trigger, then how do you achieve it? According to your requirement, you require a web service from a trigger, then how will you achieve? I told you, synchronous web services are not supported, but we can run them like a asynchronous. If you want to run them like asynchronous, what is the solution I have? Same solution. What was that? What I was doing. No. Public static void invoke. Okay. Now we are taking this. Everything is good, but the future method will not accept. Future method will not accept list of leads. I need list of leads. If you pass the list of leads which you have inserted, I can write a SQL query, I can get the leads. But the problem is, future method will not accept list of S of Z as a parameter. I can call future from a trigger, but as per this requirement, list of new leads which are inserted, those new leads should be given to the future method. But the future method is not going to support list of S objects as a parameter. Then what is the solution we have?
ID.
There are two.
We can pass the list.
One is serialize the data and pass it. Serialize the data as a JSON string, pass it, or else list of IDs. So what I'm doing, map of ID comma lead. Set of ID. So what was the bug here? Line number 4, list.
And line number 3, trace.
Pardon me?
Traces.
Lower bracket is missing. Okay. Then here what I was supposed to give? Invoke. So if you want to invoke a web service from a trigger, define the web service in the future method. define the web service in the feature method and invoke the web service. When you are calling from a feature method, if the feature method is expecting list of subject as a parameter, pass the IDs. Pass the ID. Now the question is, because it is after an set, I was able to pass the ID of the record. The same web service call, if I want to make before inset, then there will be no ID. Because it is an after inset, I got a record ID, I am passing the ID of the record. If it is before inset, there will be no ID. When there is no ID, how will you handle this? When there is no ID, how will you handle this? Then we need to go for JSON serialization. Serialize the data using JSON, pass a string. In the feature method, deserialize the data and use it. I hope you are good. Good with that? Okay. Go back to the same. No record is there. Look at this. Record saved, but pin code is not updated. Why? Future is asynchronous. It is running independently. Whenever that feature method is completed, now what happened? There is a feature is independent. It is running separately, trigger is running separately. So trigger saved. The trigger operation completed, trigger saved. Whenever the feature is completed, the feature will update the record. Go back. Still, operation is not done. First go and see whether it's a success or a failure. Now, we are able to do this because it is running independently. Because it is running independently, we are able to perform it. Just now feature complete. I think no data is found. Feature mother was success. There is some issue with updation. Where is my updation? What was that? No update query I wrote. There is the issue, right? So let me create the record once again. Right? So it is trigger is running say first, then feature is running. Whenever it is completed, the data is getting updated. Because both of them are running independently, there is no delay in the operation. There is no delay in the operation. If it is synchronous, until this update is done, I cannot save the record. There is the issue. Triggers are not supporting synchronous web services. Triggers will support only asynchronous web services. So what are the concept? Invoking a trigger from, invoking a web service from, invoking a web service from Apex class, invoking a web service from Apex class, invoking from a batch Apex, invoking from a schedule Apex, invoking from a trigger. Apart from this, any other concept we have? We may also go with invoking a trigger from JavaScript from the VF page, or invoking a web service from remote action. Invoking a web service from remote action. Even the remote action is in Apex class only. So one extra functionality what we can understand is invoking a web service from JavaScript. From JavaScript, how do you call a web service? Perform the operation. I hope you are good with this. So basic structure of integration is clear. So what we are doing? We are making a request to third party. Third party is giving a response. In the response, data will be a JSON or an XML. If it is a JSON, deserialize it. If it is an XML, deserialize it. After you deserialize, as per your requirement, process the logic. I hope everybody is good. If you want to call web service from BatchFX, we need to implement database.allows callout. If you want to implement a web service from ScheduleApex, we need to define in a feature method. If you want to call a web service from a trigger, we need to define within a feature method. I hope you are good with this. Within the feature method, how many web service calls we can make? Within the feature method, how many web service calls? 100 web service calls. Within a feature method, how many web service calls? 100 web service calls we will make. Right? I hope you are good. In the feature method, if you want to call a web service, call out equal to true. Call out equal to true. Right? So this is the quick implementation of your web service call. Here we have seen open, other one we have seen excuse me, other one we have seen API based. Now the third one will be there. What was that? O authentication. Open authentication. Third one is what? Open authentication. O authentication. OAuth. People call it as OAuth. What was that OAuth? Why we are going to use it? I'll give a quick overview of it. We'll implement the examples in the session, but I'll give quick overview of this OAuth. Till here, any query from anyone? Good. Are you a consumer or a provider? Now you are a consumer or you are a provider? We are a consumer. Right. Suppose if you want to define, okay, at this level, let me go with that. If you want to define your own web service, how do you define? Now you are calling a web service of somebody using HTTP protocol. Suppose if you want to define your own service, which should be available to third party. Now you are calling third party service in the Salesforce. If you want to define a service in the Salesforce, which can be accessed by third party people. You want to define your own service, then how you define? We have to define like a REST API service. If you want to define a service in the Salesforce, which should be available to third party, then we have to define REST API service. So how do you define the REST API service? How do you define a REST API service? Let us understand this. A quick. Now, if you want to define a REST API service, it is an Apex class only. If you are a service provider, it's very easy for you. Hardly 5 minutes of your work. Whatever the Apex class you are creating, same Apex class. Now, if you want to define a REST API service, we need to understand a couple of annotation. What was that? At the rate of REST resource, at the rate of HTTP, okay, delete, get, patch, post, put. These are the annotation. Now, when I say REST API, look at the format. I have class 1, class 2. This is these two classes Salesforce want to provide outside. You want to say, boss, these two classes can be used by anybody from outside. Then how the outside people will know this? If outside people want to call this, how they call? For every class, they will give one URL. For every class, they will give one URL. Slash so this class is referred with this URL. This class is referred with this URL. What is the URL using which you want to refer to this class? That is given as at the rate of REST resource URL mapping. What was that? At the rate of REST resource URL mapping. What is the URL with which you want to access this class? What is the URL with which you want to access this class? That should be given as URL mapping equal to slash name of the URL. Second, while you are defining a REST API class, class has to be a global class. Because any class you want to access outside should be a global. Second one, try to use with sharing instead of giving dummy. Why? If somebody is making a request, you might have shared username password with him. According to that user's profile, whatever the data is accessible, only allow the data. I don't want the external person to access the entire data. I want that person to access only the data which is accessible to him. I want that guy to perform only what his profile is allowing you. So then I go for what? With sharing. What is that with sharing? If you define a class as with sharing, the class will run in the user context. User context means according to that user, whatever his profile is allowing, according to that user, whatever is allowing, whatever his sharing rules are allowing, whatever the field level security is allowing, only that will be visible to him. So there is a reason preferably give what? Preferably give with sharing, right? With sharing. Now let us go to the next. So how you define your web service? How you define? First, at the rate of create data.
Hello, sir, just one question.
Ask the question quickly.
Like you are saying, if we are using this sharing, then the user security will come into picture. But if suppose the user is not into means he's not into Salesforce, means some other user,
Create
how
data.
will?
Hold for a minute.
Okay, okay.
Can you access the data from Salesforce without logging in? Can you access the data from Salesforce without logging in? Not
No,
possible.
no.
So if you are able to access the data without logging in, then where is the question about security for your data? So only user can log in and access it. Only user can log in and access it. Okay. Now look at the form.
Okay.
Now what I'm giving, I'm referring to this class with URL. URL mapping, create data. The name of this class I'm calling as create data. Now if I don't give with the sharing, if I don't give with sharing, and I'm writing a class, let us say, at the rate of HTTP global string. What is the name of the method? Now in a class, there will be only one method. There will be only one method with the name called HTTP get. This is a get method. Global static string invoke. What this is doing? List of account. I'm giving this. Then what I'm doing here? System.json generated. Create a generator. Then js.write start object. js.write. Why? If you are a provider, you need to generate your data in the form of JSON or XML and give it. Now you are a provider, you are supposed to convert your data in the form of JSON string or XML. That is how the people have given you also. They have converted the response in the form of JSON, they give you. When somebody is making a request to you, you also need to generate a response in the form of JSON or XML and give it. So write start object and object. Result equal to now I'm giving status success. Good. Write number field, count, how many records are there? Now you decide how you want to generate the response. Then take then I'm giving here. Now, how we are generating JSON, it's your choice, boss. I am creating my own JSON format. You create your own JSON format as per your requirement. No. So what was that? Now, write string field again here. You're writing a SQL query. You're writing a SQL query. Whatever the data we are getting, we are sending the data in the form of JSON. Whatever the SQL query I wrote, the data is converted in the form of JSON, and I'm giving. Now I want to test how this is functioning. If you want to test it, what will you do? Go to workbench. Then we have utilities, REST Explorer. Services slash apex rest slash create data. What was the error here? What is the name of the service I gave? Create data. Okay. What was the whether we have services slash apex rest slash? Once again cross check. What is the URL? I gave services slash apex slash apex error. What was that? JSON error. So look at the mistake what I made. For loop end array. It is expecting here JS dot right. First understand this. We'll simplify it in the coming examples. Okay. Go back to this. Null pointer exception. Why there is a null pointer exception? The issue here is we cannot insert a null in the JSON. So phone number is a null. Phone number not equal to. was this name, status, success, count, put in records, account, name, phone number, name, phone number. We are getting the data in the form of name, phone number, name, phone number. So if somebody make a request, I am giving you a list of records in the form of JSON. Now try to get this request now. Try to understand the request now. Everybody look at this. HTTP GET. Somebody is going to make a request to that URL. Now how we got endpoint URL? Like that Salesforce also will give endpoint URL. Now we got endpoint URL, right? They gave endpoint URL. Like that I also gave endpoint URL. Then you are supposed to tell whether it's a get method or a post method or a put method. Now I want to make this as a get method. So what I am doing at the rate of HTTP GET. Okay. At the rate of HTTP GET. Now I am trying to give account ACC equal to new account. Banking. Insert ACC. Now this account may be inserted, may not be inserted. Can you guarantee that this record will be inserted? The DML may be success, DML may be failure. I cannot guarantee that DML may be success. Now once this is performed, I want to give a result. Your result is what? If the record is inserted successfully, give the status as success, ID of the record. If record is not inserted successfully, status is failed, okay, and error message why the record was failed. This is the data I want to give. So what I was giving, I am giving here system.json generated. Create generator. This how I give. Then JS dot write JS dot write end object. Now start object, end object. Now if this is successful, what should I do? If the DML is successful, string field then I'm giving JS dot write if there is failure, JS dot write JS dot write string field. What was the fail? Dot this way. Now what was the format? If record was inserted, status success, ID of the record. Record was not successful, status failed, so and so. Are you getting my point? So if anybody make a request to this URL with a get method, it is going to insert a record. If the record was successfully inserted, we get a success message, otherwise error message. So let us try this one. Now how we are calling? Slash services slash fxs. For every REST API service defined in the Salesforce, this is common. Services slash fxs followed by create data. Execute. When I execute, now what was that? Status, success, account ID, so and so. Status success, account ID, so and so. If the DML was failure, suppose So what was this? Somebody is making a request to your service. If somebody is making a request to your service, you are going to give some response. How we received a response? You are also sending a response. In which format? JSON format. Are you clear about this? Clear? Am I clear? Okay. Now the issue here is, the biggest issue here is, boss, if it is a get method, it will not have any body. If it does not have any body, whoever is going to pass the data, they are going to pass the data using URL only. Here they are going to use question mark name equal to whoever is going to pass the data, they are going to pass the data in the URL only. Now, how do you read the data which is passed in the URL now? If it is a get method, you will not have any URL, you will not have any body. Whatever the data that somebody want to pass, the data will come to you in the form of URL. When the data is coming in the URL, how do you read the data and process your logic is the question. Here, to understand this, we have REST request. We have methods here. We have methods here. What was that? REST request. Whatever the request we are receiving from the third party, that request will be in REST request object. Whatever the request we are receiving from the third party, that will be in REST request. Now in this, right, what we are getting here? What we are getting here? Headers. Whatever the URL, in the URL, whatever you are passing, they will be in headers. What is the header? Headers is a map. If it is a map, what I will do? Key value. If it is a map, it is a key value. If I give key, I get the value. If I give the key, I get the value. Look at the format. Params. Whatever the parameters you are passing in the URL, in the request, content type, language, everything in header. In the URL, whatever the parameters you are passing, it is also in the form of map. So if I say key value, we are going to get it. So basically, we have a class called REST request class. REST request class. Using this class, we are supposed to read the parameters. I am giving the basic structure. We'll understand it better in the coming classes. So what I am doing here, REST request equal to REST context dot. Whatever the request that is coming from REST API, that will be stored in REST request. Now you want to store the parameters. How do you store the parameters? Params equal to request dot. What all the parameters you have passed, they are coming in the form of request dot parameters. ACC dot name equal to whatever the name we gave in the URL that we are taking. So what I was doing, based on the data what you passed in the request URL, based on the data I am inserting the record. Previously I took my own data. Now I am not taking my own data, I am passing the data from the URL. We will discuss this class in detail, but look at the example. Now I give name equal to Wipro, industry equal to banking. Execute. Now operation is successful. We got the ID. What is the name I gave? Wipro, industry equal to this is a Wipro. Right? So first of all, what is the trouble with this get method? Get method will not have any body. As the get method doesn't have any body, any data that the client want to send, he will be sending the data in the form of URL only. When you are sending the data in the form of URL, understand this. Everyone understand this. Salesforce. Request. Any request coming to the client, it is considered as REST context dot. Any response that we are giving to the client is considered as REST context. Any request we are receiving from the client is considered as REST context dot request. Any response we are giving to the client is considered as REST context dot response. Now the request is stored in the Salesforce. REST request. Similarly, I hope you are good. So REST, in the REST API, in this context, whatever the request we received, in this REST API context, whatever the response I am giving. Now here, what is the header? In the client, in the header, what they say? Content type, language, accept, authorization, header elements. There will be in headers. Now in the URL, I am passing that whatever you are passing in the URL, therein params. Your params will be what? Name, age. Your headers will be what? Content type, language, accept, authorization. Then what else we are going to have? What type of method is this? What type of method is this? Is it a get method, post method? What type of method is this? We have HTTP method. This will tell you whether request is a get, post, put, what type of method. Remote address. Remote address means IP address of the client. IP address of the client from where we have received the request. Request body. In case if it is a post method, you will also send that data in the body. Then read the data. Request URI. What is the endpoint URI to which you are making a request? So basically, out of this, what are the major things that we require? Header, HTTP method, params. Header, HTTP method, param. Header will contain what type of content they are sending. When you make a request, you are sending a request to me with some data. The data is in body. In which format you are sending? Are you sending the data in the form of, while you are sending, your request is insert the data. And you are sending the data in the form of XML. I should know which format I am getting the response, request. So header, authorization, all this will be there in header. HTTP method, is it a get or a post or a put? Params, any parameters you are sending in the URL. So if it is a get method, as it does not have any body, whatever the data you are passing, that is sent using a parameters in the URL. So we are reading the parameters. What was that? REST context dot request. Then we got a request object, request dot params. Request dot params is in the form of what? Map, key value pair. If it is a map, what we do? Map dot get of key. I hope you are good, right? This is what you are defining your own service. You are defining your own service. If you send a request with the following data, I will insert the record in the Salesforce, give the response back to you saying record is inserted or not inserted. I hope you are good with this. Okay, we'll continue this in the next session. So tomorrow's session will be at 9, right? 9 o'clock.